Hello there, friends! Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and Zephyr and I are here today to talk to you about the next batch of books that are showing up on our Best of 2024 books. So I know I told you guys before that I was going to be talking about different categories of books because I read 375 books last year. That is so many books, and it's impossible to narrow it down to just a couple out of all of them. So I found it easier to just break it down in different categories, and then I can give you which ones I thought were best in each category. So last week we talked about just the best literary fiction of all, my top 5 favorite. This week, we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite thrillers that I read. Now, you guys know I love a good thriller. I talk about thrillers a lot of the time on this channel because I just think they're absolutely so much fun, right? They're my favorite thing to read in the summer, particularly. There's just something so fun and relaxing about sitting out on your balcony or your front porch or your yard and just kicking back with a thriller and trying to figure out what is going on, what the twists are going to be. If you're like me, you will never figure them out because I am the absolute worst person in the world to ever pick out a twist. But that's what makes it all the more fun, I think, in my opinion. So these are going to be the top 5 best thrillers that I read in 2024. Now, some of them might be different than the ones that you read that you think were the best ones. There might be some on this list that you're like, oh my gosh, I read that and I didn't think it was that good. Or ones that you're like, oh my gosh, she didn't talk about this one at all. How could she do that? So if that's the case, I love that so much because talking about books is my #1 favorite thing in the world. So please, 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 in the comments, tell me all about your favorite thrillers that you read this month. Or this past year. What were the books that just completely stunned you, that shocked you, that sent you just in a whirl thinking about them long after you were finished? So I will say that I was really lucky this past year. And 2024 was one of those fantastic years when my 3 favorite thriller authors all published a book that year. Oh, I love that so much. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, I know I'm in for a treat. And of course, all 3 of those books did appear on this list, but not in the places that you may have thought that they would. So, starting out at number 5, The Housemaid by Freda McFadden. I know, you're going to say, oh my gosh, this book is so overhyped. Everybody's talking about it. I see it everywhere. I'm tired of hearing about this book. But I was thinking the same thing when this book and all of the other Freda McFadden books came out. You know, she had, I believe, indie published them or self-published them first, and then they were picked up by a traditional publisher. So we got all of these books like in a big rush, right? And everybody was talking about them. So I decided over the summer, I need to find out what is going on with these books. I need to try her out and see. Is she overhyped? Is she not? What's going on? I loved this book. It is a fantastic book. It's a great thriller. It's not a book that has, like, you're not going to be, you know, solving world hunger or whatever when you're reading it. It's not like the deepest thing you will ever read in the world. It's a thriller. It's what it's supposed to be. It's fun. It's exciting. It keeps you guessing until the very end. I did not guess the end, but again, like I said, that's not saying much because I never do. But I thought this book was absolutely phenomenal. So if you don't know about this book, basically this is about a woman who is a maid, Millie. She's just gotten this new job with this family. Nina is the wife that she's working for, and she's taking care of the daughter and the house, right? So she believes at first that she has just walked into this amazing life. Like Nina, she can't stand her kind of because she feels like she's arrogant, she's mean to her, and she just has this perfect life that Millie would absolutely love. And when she tries on an outfit of hers one time, just kind of like pretending what it would be like to be her, Nina finds out, and then things go from bad to worse. And there is just like this progression of I don't want to say terror, but just like intensity where you're like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? And the roles and like, you know, the husband and everything like that. Like there's just so much going on with this book. I know that this book is everywhere and I know everybody's talking about it. But I did read it. And I did read, you know, I do read a lot of thrillers. And I have to say that I thought this was really awesome. I thought it was fantastic. I have only read this one. There's, I think, at least 2 more in the series. Like The Housemaid Returns and maybe The Housemaid is Always Watching, something like that. I haven't read those other ones. This is fine as it stands on its own. I think it's great. Will I go to the other ones? You know, maybe eventually at some point. But this is a great book on its own. Loved it. Perfect for a thriller. Not a lot of deep thought into it. Excellent. The Housemaid. Okay, Number 4, Ruth Ware's new book, One Perfect Couple. So this book I was so over the moon excited about because I got an early reader's a copy of it at a convention I went to earlier in the spring. So I got to read it a couple months before it came out in the summer, and that was like one of the best things that's ever happened to me. So this is a book about a reality show, or a potential reality show. So our main character is a doctor, and she has a boyfriend who is a kind of a slacker actor. He gets this gig, or this potential gig, to go, but he has to bring her with her because it's couples. They all have to go on this island and they get filmed, and it's going to be sort of like a Survivor thing, but with couples. She really doesn't want to do it. This is not her thing at all. She's a doctor. She doesn't care about this stuff, but the boyfriend really, really begs her, and basically she feels like her relationship with him is on the line if she doesn't do it. So they go, they meet these other couples. There's 5 couples, and of course the first night there's like this horrific like storm, knocks out the communication and everything like that. And so then it's just basically these couples on this island with no way to get off the island, no way to communicate that they're in trouble, and now they're going to have to like conserve the food and stuff like that. And basically what happens is what happens whenever you read a story or watch a thing about a island where people get stranded on it. Social roles start to break down. It's like a Lord of the Flies sort of thing, right? People start to show aggression and, you know, leadership and stuff like that. But what throws another thing into this mix is they start to also die one by one. Somebody is killing these people. Is it one of the couples that they all know about that's on the island? Is there somebody else on the island? What is going on with this? If you know me, you know how much I love Ruth Ware. She is one of my top 3 favorite thriller authors, and this book did not disappoint. I actually liked this one way better than the one she wrote last year. I liked last year's book. I thought it was great, but I didn't think it was one of her best works. And this, I think, is a return to some of her previous works before that I thought were just absolutely amazing. So if you like reality shows, if you like a bunch of characters that some of them are really just not great people. Really, I didn't like anybody in this book that much except for the main character. It changed a little bit later on, but you don't know who to trust. You don't know what's going on. There's unreliable narrators, and it's just absolutely, it's just such a wild romp. I had a really good time with this book. I thought it was fantastic. So give it a shot. If you are already a fan of Ruth Ware, I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you've never read anything by her before, what are you waiting for? You need to check this one out. One Perfect Couple. Number 4. Number 3, Simone St. James, Murder Road. Now, this is another one of my favorite thriller authors, and she doesn't come out with a book every year, so I was really excited to know that this was coming out this year. And one of the things I love about Simone St. James is that her books are thrillers, and they're always just sort of tinged with a little bit of supernatural. So to the point where like you never really know if it's a supernatural thing that's happening or if it's just an actual regular thing that's happening, but the characters are interpreting it that way. And I love that. I think that's super great. I love worrying about that and wondering like, is there a ghost? Is there not a ghost? What's happening? So this book is about, it takes place in the 90s, first of all. I'm a 90s kid, so yeah, it was awesome. And it's about this couple who has just gotten married. They haven't really known each other long, and you can actually kind of tell right from the beginning that there are secrets in their pasts that neither of them have divulged to each other yet. But it's this young couple, just got married. They're going on their honeymoon. On their way there, they find this girl hitchhiking on the side of the road. So they pick her up. As they're traveling with her, though, they notice that she's bleeding, like a lot. And as they're now going to try to take her to the hospital, there is this truck behind them that is basically trying to get them, like riding their tailgate, coming after them, and they are starting to wonder, has this girl like escaped something from this person? So they take her to the hospital. She dies like immediately. And then of course the couple is under like total suspicion for this because there have been girls being murdered on this road habitually for quite a while now. So they're like, oh my God, this couple is totally killing, you know, these girls. So the couple is now the center of this murder investigation, but also at the same time trying to find out themselves what is happening to clear their name. and wondering if it ties into this urban legend about the area, about this road, about this girl that haunts the road. So I love this book. First of all, I am a huge sucker for books that take place in the 90s. I just love that. I think it's really fun to read about characters in a time when there are not cell phones and like constant ways to communicate with people, because I think especially in a thriller, it really adds to that like heightened sense of dread and isolation, right? Again, with Simone St. James, there's always that little bit of like, is there a ghost? Is there something supernatural? Is there not? Is it just all like in our heads? And I love that about that too. This is a phenomenal book. I guarantee you this is one of her best books. I've read everything by her. I love, love, love this so much. If you've never read anything before by her, give this one a shot. See if you like it. I absolutely loved it. I did not guess the ending at all. I was very, very surprised. Thought it was fantastic. The characters were really great. Again, unreliable narrators. Love that. Super fun ride. Murder Road. Okay. That was, what are we on? 3, right? So now we're on number 2. We just read number 3, so we're on 2. We're on the top 2 favorite thrillers. So, if you've been following these videos for a while, you know about my 3 favorite thriller authors, and I talked about 2 of them already, right? Ruth Ware, Simone St. James. So you know the next one is Riley Sager. And this was his book that he came out with in the summer, Middle of the Night. First of all, can we just talk about the stylistic, like, joy of the covers of his books? I feel like especially the last, like, 3 or 4 have all, like, had this sort of, like, feel to them, and I'm just here for it. I think it's great. So I loved this book so, so much. So this book is about a boy. It starts off with this boy named Ethan who has a best friend, Billy, and when they're kids, they go camping in Ethan's backyard one night. But the next morning when Ethan wakes up, Billy is gone. There's a huge tear in the tent, like something, ripped it and maybe reached in and took Billy out, and Billy was never found. Billy's family has never recovered from this. Obviously, Ethan has never recovered from this, because how do you recover from having a sleepover in the backyard with your best friend and then waking up and he's gone? And you slept through it and you have no idea what's going on, and everyone believes that Ethan knows more than he's telling. So now fast forward to present day, and Ethan is back living in his childhood home. There were, his some issues with his wife. He's not with his wife anymore. And so now his parents have moved like down south, and how he is living in his childhood home by himself. And stuff starts to happen. Stuff starts to happen to make him think that Billy is actually back. That Billy is now in the neighborhood again, haunting him. And I don't mean haunting in like a ghost supernatural way, or maybe I do, I don't know, but he is getting all these clues, and these things keep happening to make him believe that this kid is back. And what does he want if he's back? Does he blame Ethan for what happened? What did really happen? I really loved uncovering the twists and the mysteries of this book. If you've read Riley Sager before, you know that it's never with him just one twist, right? You'll get to a big twist, and then like 5 seconds later, there's another twist, and then another twist, and there's just like little firecrackers of twists over and over and over again until you get to the end. And I love that. It's so much fun. And this book was no different. I am a little jaded. Yes, biased rather. I always go into a Riley Sager book loving them and expecting the best. And he always delivers, at least in my opinion. I thought this book was great. I didn't guess the ending at all. Again, maybe you did if you read it. You're a much better sleuth than me. I'm horrible at it. But I just thought this book was really great, and I loved the back and forth points of view from Ethan when he was younger to Ethan now. I just thought that was done really well and added to the heightened mystery of the story. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. So you may have been expecting one of my favorite 3 authors to be number 1, and that's not the case. There was actually a thriller that came out that I loved even more than the rest of those books that I talked about, even beating my 3 favorite thriller authors. That's crazy, right? Okay, what is that book? My favorite number 1 thriller that I read last year, If Something Happens to Me by Alex Finlay. Now, Alex Finlay, I've read a couple of their books before, and I do really enjoy this author a lot, but I'm still not like, I don't ever just go into their books thinking, all right, this is going to be a slam dunk every time, because you never know, right? So I picked this book up because it was their new one, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, see what this one is. I immediately loved it. The twist, the thing I love about this book is the twist completely blew me away. It didn't surprise me. It didn't shock me. It blew me away. I had to put the book down and like think about it for a couple minutes because I was like, oh my gosh, I see exactly what the author did. I see exactly how they tied all these things together into place to lead me to this place right now. And I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. Okay, so main character is a guy named Alex. I think it's Alex. Nope, it's Ryan. Totally got that wrong. So the main character is a guy named Ryan who, when he was in high school, was out with his girlfriend in a car. The car was attacked by somebody. He got beaten up. The girlfriend was stolen, taken out of the car and taken from him. And he doesn't remember anything other than that night, other than hearing her screaming. She has never been found, alive or dead. He was left there. The car was taken. Everything is gone. He has been trying to put together the rest of his life, which obviously that's like impossible to do. How hard would that be, right? So he's trying to pick up the pieces of his life. He's in college now, trying to put it behind him, when he gets a call from his dad saying they found her car. They found her car, and not only that, there are 2 men's bodies in the car and an envelope that says, if something happens to me, you know, read on. And on top of that, Ryan has then started to see where he is in college, which is in Europe, by the way, completely different company or country. He starts to see this guy that he remembers from that night as the one who attacked them. So now he is like, oh my God, all of this is unraveling. And you have to try to think like, did Ryan do something to her? Is this an unreliable narrator? What's happening? What's going on? I thought this book was so well written. Again, it did a lot of that really cool point of view between past and present. And I love that. You're trying to connect the dots. There's a couple different storylines going on and you're like, I don't understand how this is connected. And when they do get all connected, oh my gosh, it's so, so good. I love this book. I thought it was great. It completely took me by surprise by how much I loved it. And like I said, the twist totally blew me away. I'm still thinking about it, even though I read it over the summer. Maybe even it was in early spring. I don't remember, but such a fantastic thriller. If you only read one thriller this year, if you're not a thriller person, you're looking to give the genre a try, pick this one. If Something Happened to Me by Alex Finlay. Well, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that these books sound really exciting and awesome. Maybe you're somebody who really loves to read thrillers and some of these are ones you haven't read before. Or, you know, maybe you already read a lot of thrillers and you want to check these out. Or maybe you want to tell me about what some of your favorite thrillers that you read in 2024 were. If so, leave a note in the comments, let me know. And also, all of these books are available at Farmington Community Library, so please feel free to come and get them. Put them on hold there if you would like to read them. Thank you so very much for watching, friends, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.